Hello and welcome back to another Reddit Rare. And as you might see, or if you have read the title, it was the Belgium Grand Prix, which means we have a lot to talk about, especially about what you see in front of you. But before that, let's go into the memes and see what Reddit said. It reminded me of someone. Question: what kind of tire is best? And this meme is due to what's it called, Ferrari talking to Schultz, his race mechanic, asking about, as you can see in the meme, what tires he should use. And he got to do the strategy. I don't fully remember what he said, but it was more his choice. And that's a good thing, I would say, because if you think about Vettel, he made a lot of these strategy choices, which made him sort of have a better race. So I would say it was a good thing that they asked him, but Ferrari should also know better for themselves in the future. I'm beginning to believe, question, what if Ferrari are intentionally tanking this season and up further constructors to have more wind tunnel time? Well, they, would do that maybe if they were a bit smart, but as this comment says, so it's gonna be next year? It's always next year. What do you mean? Question. Next year is our year. Question. So it's, yeah. They say that, but yet. Is it next year or will it be in 10 years? You never know with Ferrari. They can win the World Championship and then fall off. Oh, I've seen this meme again. And they have Checo, you have Verstappen, Max, and you have said Ferrari fan. Well, yeah, that's sort of becoming a thing now, because we have from the start seen Mercedes haven't been the best, and so be it, they're slowly getting better and better. Belgium, not maybe the best thing, but yeah, it's a bit this with Ferrari. And in Belgium, Red Bull and especially Verstappen was super quick, and apparently they don't have their new chassis or monocoque or something like that. And if you don't know what that is, it's the actual the main structure of the car to hold it in part. So if you have seen sort of all the panels are like in a special way, and they are designed around the monocoque. On when you think about the actual car, and that was supposedly going to gain them 2 to 3 seconds, but Verstappen was 6 tenths quicker than Sainz, I believe, and 7 tenths quicker than Perez. So might something they have done something with Verstappen's score, or was the car and setup and driver combo just far superior than what could have been with any other driver? We'll see if this is a one-time thing, or if this is a thing which will happen in the rest of the season, in the next week, or technically this week as of recording this, where we are going to Verstappen's back garden in Zandvoort. Okay, so based on the previous 11 races, Verstappen will lose in Zandvoort, but then win again in Monza and Singapore. And if we look, what's this? Based on the previous 11 races, okay, so he won 3 in a row, lost, then won 2, Azerbaijan, Canada, then lost 2, then he won 3 in a row, so then he will lose in the Netherlands, win in Italy and Singapore, lose in Japan, US, and then win in Mexico. What does that SAP and Abu Dhabi? Oh, that's, did you mean Brazil? I'm not sure, but who knows when the max dominance of this year will end. I think that Mercedes might get one win. Ferrari might also get one win at least the rest of the season if they don't bottle anything. But Italy, I think, might be the silly race because we have silly season in drivers, and now we might have the silly race of F1 because ever since COVID happened, 2020, you have Hamilton dominating the race but accidentally pitting when he wasn't allowed to, which meant he had a 5 and 10 or 10-second stop and go penalty, which meant Gasly won. Then you have in 2021 where Verstappen and Hamilton had an incident, which meant Daniel Ricciardo won, which was last year. And this year, might we see somebody hasn't won this year because Ricciardo has won before. That was Gasly's first win. And it has been like every time the championship leader has since 2020, the championship leader has messed up in Monza, which meant that we would have a new winner for that season. So might it as well be that Red Bull, like Perez, he's gone. Then you have Leclerc and Sainz, who both have won a race, so they Ferrari bottling. And you have obviously Verstappen, and he might get, let's say, an engine failure. Which means that we will have either Russell or Hamilton. I don't know who to predict. I'm always going to stick with my boys in Mercedes, and especially Lewis Hamilton. But I have a slight feeling that maybe Russell wins in Monza. Mark my word. Mercedes will win in Monza and it will be Russell. Come back to this video. I will come back to this video and see how correct I was. Strategy. We will use the radio to ask the driver what tire he wants. This guy is a genius. And as we have talked before, that's in referencing to the thing with Leclerc. And as I stated before, I think it's a good thing that they give the driver some input, because I think the other teams also do give in some driver input. But the only problem is that the person here they're talking about is Binotto, and as stated before, or not in my video, but what has been stated before in other videos and things, is that he doesn't want to change anything because he thinks there's nothing wrong and they will win things and all of this. That I believe that the same, I'm not fully sure, but I think that the same strategist, or you could sort of see with how bad the strategies have been, that they've had the same strategist since, when was it? 2017, 2018, when Vettel was there. So I think that they should take away the strategist. Binotto should move down to a head of technical department position, and then we should bring in some new person. Maybe they resign Maurizio Arrivabene. If you don't know who he is, ex-F1 boss. They might do some other Italian things and just bring in some other Italian. You never know with Ferrari. They can stay and do everything bad, or they change and things still stay bad. You never know with Ferrari. But the last time they were dominant with Schumacher, their team principal was French, and their head of technical directive and car design was Ross Brawn, who I believe is British, or at least English speaking. So what I'm saying is that Ferrari should think more globally, because the last time they did it, it worked out, and now they have Italian in the helm. They have had him for a few years, and it's not gone the best. So I'm not trying to be racist, but seeing that sort of pattern, they should maybe rethink about it. No, Seb, no. So you have Peroni and don't drink and drive. And he says, I really enjoy going out in the mountains for skiing. If you don't know what that's a reference for, then you might not be such a informed F1 fan, and what I mean is knowledgeable. Just search up what happened to Michael Schumacher in 2013, or watch his documentary on Netflix. Because if you don't know this, you might be a Drive to Survive fan, and that's on Netflix. Go watch this documentary, I really recommend it. And if you don't know what this is a reference to, search it up about Michael Schumacher. F1 22 rival duel event description. Sound familiar? Abu Dhabi Grand Prix rival duel. Prepare to do the battle against a single opponent in equal machinery. The event takes place over 3 rounds. I don't fully understand, but the last time we were in Abu Dhabi, if you don't know what happened, search it up again in 2021, but they took it up with Drive to Survive, so you might know what happened. Yeah, the Monarch. Ah, now I understand what they mean. Ah, because Nico Rosberg, if you don't know, he was Hamilton's, it was a very good friend with Hamilton, used to be an F1 driver for, I believe it was with BMW Sauber and some other teams, and then or another different team, and then he joined Mercedes in 2010, raced with Schumacher, who you can see on the right underneath me. But the meme is always, if you haven't seen any man videos, I believe in my last video about the, what was it, the Hungarian Grand Prix, I talked about it, my latest Reddit react. So go and check that out. But what he loves talking about is he beat Hamilton in equal machinery. But what it is was he played mind games, and they went from best friends to not talking at all. Might say something about what he did. I don't know. I will leave it out there, but in my opinion is Rosberg. It's did some maybe things he shouldn't have done, but those already done, and it's interesting researching about what he actually had to do mentally to win the World Championship in 2016. Look it up. What's it called? I don't know. Ask the truck. How do you feel about setting the fastest lap in F1 history? In audible mumbling. So, if you don't know, the great Kimi Raikkonen won the last World Championship with Ferrari and loves making weird noises such as mwah, mwah, and loves just saying simple things and short things. Like, I remember one time he got asked a question like, oh, what happened out there? He just says, well, I crashed. Didn't give an answer. But the interesting thing is, he did, if you didn't see, did the debut in NASCAR around Watkins Glen, one of my favorite race circuits. I've done a video on it, driving an F1 car around there. Go and check that out. But he was asked a few questions and he talked a lot. And I mean, he talked like 1.5 minutes, not seconds, minutes, straight through. And what I heard is, like, before, why he didn't talk so much is he had some problems. He had his throat hurts when he speaks due to a motorcycle crash or motocross, or what you say. Crash he had when he was younger. So this is quite shocking for us F1 fans. But you never know, Kim. He might have gotten old and he might have a big passion for NASCAR. You never know. But also, NASCAR had a really big crash, which is sort of expected with NASCAR. Around, I don't remember where, but I've seen it. And if anything happened, I don't know if anybody injured themselves or not. But if anybody got injured, my heart goes out to those affected. And if nobody got injured, that just shows how good safety has become in racing. Okay, So this is the last meme of today. Max starting P14, Sainz starting P1. Hey, Max, hey, cargo vroom vroom. And what you can see is a bit like Verstappen had it bit easy for him because, as we know, he's in a dominant car, and when you put a dominant car in a dominant driver in the back of the grid, boom happens. What I mean by that is ton of overtaking, lots of fun, but not to downgrade anything on his very good achievement, but he did it in a far easier circuit for what's it called, if you compare it to others, because he had the long straights and he had very twisty corners, and obviously he was dominant. But yeah, it was a really good drive. And then if you look at if Max fans are starting to talk and saying, "Oh, better than Hamilton," remember what he did in Brazil. Verstappen allegedly intentionally made it so Hamilton went off the circuit, and obviously with Michael Maxi back then, so nothing happened. But Hamilton still won, and he technically started P20 at the start of sprint qualifying, made up 15 places in 20 laps around a far twistier circuit and far harder to overtake. So I have a big knowledge of Formula 1, so any of you Max Verstappen fanboys trying to come at me and saying Hamilton is bad, think about who you're talking to. Big brain here. But now, before I say something I shouldn't say, let's go to the race rundown. And what I thought about the race was, it was quite entertaining, as we have seen before, as I've stated, with Verstappen and everything happening there. Then we also have the Hamilton incident. I'm just going to come out there. If you haven't seen my YouTube shorts, it was Hamilton's fault, and Hamilton also said it was his fault, and Alonso called Hamilton an idiot, and I won't comment on that because Alonso is Alonso. But yeah, I thought it was an interesting race. It was a bit boring after basically when Verstappen took over the lead, which was like lap, I think it was from 14, he led every lap, and wasn't a ton of action which happened from what I remember. But yeah, at least we get to have Spa for another year. Hopefully they don't take it away, because guess what? F1 loves money, and they need tons of money. Maybe that's why they got Abu Dhabi. I think I've spoken too much. My next video will be on Zandvoort, the Dutch Grand Prix, another Reddit react. Like usual, you will have 3 Reddit reacts after each other, including this one, then 2 others, and then you'll have quite an interesting video, let's just say, if my plans work out. Let's just say it involves my stream deck and a game you never thought I would play. But before that, I've been Racing Legend, you've been my amazing viewers. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.